we are lucky enough to be joined by Stewart Hillhouse, head of content at Mutiny. Super interesting topic. Can't wait to hear the talk. Stewart, feel free to take it away.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Super excited to be here. I'm sure you're just getting jam-packed. So I want to thank you for being here, and let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about the counterintuitive way to create content that actually converts. So who is this talking head right now? My name's Stewart, and I'm the head of content at Mutiny. Mutiny is a conversion platform that allows marketers to turn their existing traffic into pipeline without doing any code or requiring your engineering team to move your website around at all. You can do it all through Mutiny. And in the picture, you can see that in a previous life, I was actually a semi-professional lumberjack. So if you have questions about that, we can chat about it later. But I want to first start and set the stage a little bit about what the realities are of marketing in 2023. So there's three kind of main things that I think about now, especially as I'm creating content, is firstly, your ideal customer persona, your ICP that you might have been selling to last year. You know, there's weird economic conditions that they might now be really hesitant to buy from you. Why is this? Is because they don't want to maybe stick their neck out and try and bring on a new tool that you're selling to them. Just based on, budget required, maybe their teams had headcount reduction. There's a lot of reasons why your ICP might be nervous to sell internally. That paired with, the uncertainty of where the company might be in a little bit, they're probably pretty nervous to bring on new tools. So now is the time to start building super fans, not just prospects. These are people who actually will buy your thing, when the time's right, but they still want to, consume your content and be part of your company's narrative. But that brings us to the third problem is your company expects content to be creating pipeline and to be operating efficiently. And so you need to still balance this idea of creating pipeline and creating conversions while still also not being super hard selling, because that's just realistically not going to work on your target audience. So with that kind of background, the way I'm starting to think about content and my hot take for today is over-indexing on conversion-focused content actually decreases your conversion rates and makes it harder to prove pipeline for content marketing. All right, so a lot of C's, a lot of conversion words in there. But what does this actually look like in practice? Okay, I'm going to take you through the 3 steps that I think about when we're creating content at Mutiny and show you real examples of how content that isn't focused on driving a new meeting booked or a new free trial sign up actually does a better job at turning readers into pipeline than those conversion focused pieces. So step 1, we always start by getting insights straight from the audience's mouth. So at Mutiny, what we do is we hop on these calls with our customers, with our partners, and other people who are, match our ICP. And we try to unpack the challenges and the problems that they're currently having, and then dig into how they're thinking about solving those problems. So here in this example, this is my friend Charlotte, who works at Clearbit. She's sharing, a real and timely issue that Clearbit is having and how they're trying to fix it. We do this publicly in a webinar format that we call Conversion Secrets Live, because it really, speaks to our practitioner colleagues who are trying things out and trying to make the best what they can. So, but you need to have timely insights about how your prospects are thinking so that you can then, turn that into content and speak back to them in their own words. Step 2 is then turn those insights into a repeatable and practical format. These are the 2 ingredients that any piece of content needs right now. I'm not talking about SEO, really search focused content. I'm talking about editorial content that your, audience actually is going to read versus, just generating sort of really top of funnel traffic from SEO. So the reason I say repeatable is because you want something that your audience can come back to week after week, month after month, quarter after quarter, and they know that it's going to be really good and they're excited for it coming up. The same way you're excited for the next episode of The Last of Us, you can't wait for it to come out. You want your audience to be ready for your next thing, but you also need it to be super practical so that they can actually turn it into action and not just like, oh no, fluffy kind of stuff. So for us, that's a format called playbooks. And you can see here, we've got a huge library of them. And each one of these goes into detail about, the thesis, the growth thesis, the problem, and then the solution and the steps they took to get there. And then the last bit is making sure that you're stringing it together and building like a larger narrative that's not just around your company. So like talking, any good content marketer will know that you should only talk about yourself like 5% of the time. The rest of the time, you should be talking about the problem, the life, the bigger narrative of the person who's reading it. You don't want to be talking about yourself all the time. So, this is, how you turn a simple interview into a puzzle piece of the bigger picture and then share it across every single channel you have. So this is showing, the same interview I gave presented in a newsletter format, presented in a social format, presented on the website as the actual playbook. And they're all like saying the same things, but from different angles. And they're all optimized for the channel that they're being shared on. So you just need to like string it to a bigger narrative. And it's not just about, that piece of content. It's about the bigger story. All right. So these playbooks sound cool, but do they actually perform? And like, how am I proving the pipeline that's being generated from content? Well, we've seen, and this is a screenshot taken directly from Google Analytics, that visitors on our website who view one of these playbooks are 2 times more likely to book a sales call. And on these playbook pages, we don't actually even have a CTA that says book call. It just has a button that says like, want to learn more about Mutiny? And it actually takes you to a product page. So these pages, even though there's no hard CTA and they're completely ungated, actually make it twice as more likely for someone to turn into pipeline. Let's just look at these numbers here down below. So that first grouping is someone who just comes to our website and doesn't look at a playbook. So they average 1 minute and 48 seconds on the page, and they convert at a 0.2% to a meeting booked. All right, that's cool. Now the next one down is they viewed a playbook. They now average 4 pages per session, meaning they're clicking around, they're actually looking through our website and learning a lot about our product. That's awesome. And they stay on the website 3 times longer. They're over 6 minutes now sitting, looking at our stuff, learning about it, becoming more excited about what Mutiny can do for them. And they convert at twice the rate, now at 0.4%. And the same, these numbers continue to get better as we look at like more than 2 playbooks per session. Now we're getting up into the 8-minute mark where people are like almost spending, an entire 10 minutes on your website, and they're still converting at that higher rate. So that's how we think about these playbooks and how they actually, these non-conversion focused pieces of content actually drive a lot of conversion for us.